Hari Om, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14, verse 26. Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. In the last verse, Bhagwan Krishna said, a man of wisdom has the same mental disposition in honor and dishonor. That is, he remains calm. He is the same towards friend or foe. He does not undertake any work for selfish needs or ends. This man of wisdom is said to have crossed the three gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas. Now, verse 26. Mam cha yo vyabhichareణ bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Bhagavan is now answering the last question of Arjuna. That is the third question. Arjuna asked three questions to Bhagavan, if you remember the initial verses. The first question was, what are the characteristics or marks of a man who has crossed the three gunas? That was the first question. Bhagavan answered that question in verse 22. Then the second question of Arjuna was, what is the conduct or the relationship of that wise man with the world outside? Or what is his character? I want to know what is his character and conduct with the outside world. So that I can improve, I can try, I will keep him as my goal. That was the question of Arjuna. Bhagavan answered that question in verses 23 to 25. So what are the qualities? What are the character? What is the conduct? What is his relationship with the outside world? Bhagavan explained in detail. Now he takes up the last question. How can one conquer his inner confusions and attain the final goal? That is, how can one overcome these gunas and live like that person? Whatever Krishna you said is only a theory. How to achieve it? Practical aspect. You need to teach me. Otherwise, your theory is a complete waste of time. I am sorry to say. That is the thing which is behind the mind of Arjuna. So the third question is taken up by Bhagwan and he is going to answer that. Can somebody remain the same in pleasure and pain? Suppose it looks impossible. Can somebody treat a wayside stone or a pebble and a gold the same? Will you take suppose if there is a gold coin on the road, side by side there is a stone. Will you take the stone and bring it to home and keep it in your bureau? Is that possible? The Akshaya Tritiya is coming. There will be a mad rush in all the jewelry shops in Tamil Nadu. Everybody is buying the gold on that day. They think if you buy gold, then it is good. So, whether you have money or don't have money, you go there and then buy the gold. They are not, all the pebbles and stones are available on the road. They could have taken it. So, it is not having the same disposition towards the gold and stone. Can somebody treat his own family people, wife, children, etc., and an unknown person the same way? Can somebody remain the same when he is praised or criticized? Can somebody maintain his calmness in honor and dishonor? Suppose somebody shames you. Can you remain the same? Immediately you will file a defamation suit. Can somebody remain the same to his friend or foe? You will welcome your friend to your home. Can you do that to your enemy? All this seems to be an impossible task, at least for average people like us. What Bhagwan Krishna says, it is yet another advice like what we get in the regular life. Somebody says so many things, unnecessary advice. So you will go on repeating, you will you may not even hear that fellow. Your ears are open, that's it. Whatever he says, let him say, I will continue to do whatever I am doing. That kind of an advice. So whatever Bhagavan gives also, is it that kind of an advice? In case, If it can be lived, then what is the way? How to live? Any theory which is not followed by a practical and demonstrated that the theory is correct is an absolute waste of time. Whatever we have studied becomes a complete waste of time. Because it is not an achievable goal. Is this possible? Can I become a gunadita? Because in at my level, I think, sir, that is not possible. How can I become a gunadita? That is all meant for why sannyasis, rishis, and munis. They can be like that. But I am a householder. This seems to be the character and conduct of a sannyasi, sir. Not for me. I am an average householder. How can I live? That is the question in all our minds. That is the same question in Arjuna's mind also. Bhagwan gives a simple way out, a practical way to become a gunadita, to cross over the gunas. It is a philosophical truth that what you think, you become. Continuous 24 into 7. You must think about that and work towards that. You will become that. 100%. It's a philosophical truth. It has been scientifically proved. A man is what he thinks. Suppose if you think about monkey, 24 into 7, 100% one day you will climb the tree and jump from one branch to another. You may scratch your side or just put your fingers on the head of your children to look for some insect, small insect will be there, and that the monkey will eat. 100% you will become. There is no doubt about it. In the same way, if a person thinks on the highest ideal, always, you must think continuously, 24 into 7. Then you will be living the highest ideal. Given today's challenges, it looks almost impossible for a man to meditate on Bhagwan Krishna all the time, 24 into 7. That too for an householder. Pressure of personal problems are there. Society's problems, society's pressure. You have to maintain your status. Household pressure. You have to earn money. How can you not earn money and simply sit in house as a householder? Sannyasi may sit. But nowadays sannyasis are having too much of money. I am not talking about that. I am not criticizing. I am saying householder has got n number of pressures. So it makes it impossible for a person to meditate on the form of Bhagwan Krishna 24 into 7. Or it will be the worst case if you want to meditate on the formless Brahman. If you say, no, sir, I am a true Advaitist, I am like Adi Shankara, I want to meditate on the formless Brahman. Impossible. I can guarantee it. Most of us think when Bhagavan Krishna says, do seva, that is service to me, immediately we all want to resign our job. Useless job, sir, boss is scolding. Morning I have to catch the bus, travel for 2.5 hours in the rush, and then reach office. By the time I come back, I want to resign. No proper increment. Only fellow who is cajoling the boss is getting increment and promotions. Not for me. So I will resign my job and do some puja at a temple. If that is the case, Bhagwan would have advised Arjuna to resign his job immediately as an army chief, and then asked him to wear a dhoti, panchakacham, go to a temple to do puja. But Bhagwan, in unequivocal terms, he says to Arjuna, fight this war, do your duty, Arjuna. When did you become a eunuch? Fight this war. It is your duty as an army officer to do that. It is a shame. That is what Bhagwan is saying. Hence, to worship Bhagwan means doing all your work in accordance with Dharma. I need not have to repeat this again and again and again. Rama is Dharma, Dharma is Rama. Krishna is Dharma, Dharma is Krishna. So, whatever you do, if you do in accordance with Dharma, and then surrender the results, whatever it comes, at the feet of Bhagavan Krishna, that is the worship. Bhagwan Krishna and Dharma, Bhagwan Krishna and Brahman, they are not two different things. No, but I think it's my view. I'm not saying, I'm not getting into Puranic gods and gods of Veda type time. I am not getting into that. In my view, formless can be reached only through form. That is what Bhagavan Krishna also says. You cannot reach the formless unless you you try to worship through the form. So Bhagavan Krishna is the form of the Brahma. So you have to worship Bhagavan in this way only. A person may be spending 24 hours in his puja room or temple, but he may not be actually worshipping Bhagavan. Thoughts may be on something else. A person may not be entering a puja room, not even 1 minute, but he may be worshipping Bhagavan 24 into 7. If he surrenders all his work at the feet of Bhagavan Krishna and he is doing all his work in accordance with Dharma. Don't get me wrong when I say that, okay, I need not hereafter chant slogas, need not read Ramayana or Mahabharata, need not read Bhagavad Gita, etc. I am not saying that. 24 into 7, you cannot do that. That is what my personal opinion is. 24 into 7, somebody reading Mahabharata as a householder, not going for a job. It is not possible. You have to do your work. You have to face the world. You have to get out into the world. Normally, if you don't read Mahabharata, Ramayana, or Bhagavad Gita, or Bhagavad, how will you know what is Dharma and what is Adharma? You cannot understand what is Dharma and Adharma. Because you will justify whatever Adharma you are doing as Dharma. Sir, it's okay, sir. We have to do this, otherwise, how will I live? Whatever Adharma you are doing, you will justify. Or you will compare it with the other person. Normally, we compare ourselves with the other. He is getting 10 crores corruption money, sir. I got only 1 crore, sir. So nothing wrong. That kind of a living we will live. So what I am saying is, I am not saying you don't read or chant slogas, etc. Whatever you are doing, you must do with your mind attached to it. That is why Bhagavan says, Avya Bichare. Bhagavan says, Mam cha yovya bicharena. Don't become a vibhachari. Clear cut. Bhagavan says, don't prostitute your mind. Whenever you do a work, attach your mind with that work. This is what we have seen, that Andal Mata has also said this. Vaayinal Padi Manattinal Sindhik. Don't merely chant the slogas. Attach your mind with that also. Then only you can see the correct result. Your mind is on something, doing something else. Absolute waste. It's a vibhachari's job. Prostituting mind. Unprostituting mind is what is required. Hence, Bhagavan Krishna says, do all your work as an offering or service to me. Swami Chinmayananda says, all the work that is undertaken with love, dedication, and service is the real worship. Already we have seen the story of the two servants to a master working in the garden. One servant is never works, Swami Vivekananda's story. Another fellow works in the garden, takes the fruits and the flowers to the children of the master. The master will be happy with that servant who is bringing the flowers and fruits, not the one who simply praises the master. That is the story which we have seen already. The one who practices constant awareness of Bhagavan in all his services is removed from all the agitations of mind. That is the point. All sattva, rajas and tamas, they create agitation of mind. All this agitation can be removed if a person works in the constant awareness of Bhagavan Krishna. This person slowly removes all the chains and becomes one with the Brahma. Swami Dayananda Saraswati quotes Adi Shankara here. Adi Shankara says, a karma yogi or sannyasi who worships or seeks Bhagavan Because Bhagavan is the consciousness obtained in all the beings. So this person seeks that Bhagavan or worships Bhagavan with unswerving devotion. He only gains the Brahma. Adi Shankara says that it is bhakti in the form of clear knowledge and enquiry. Bhakti is in the form of clear knowledge and enquiry. Pursuing Bhagavan can only be in the form of enquiry because he is always with you. Bhagavan himself said, Vasudeva Sarvamiti. In every being, he is there. So you don't have to search Bhagavan throughout the world. He is with you. In fact, the day on which you realize he is you, then or you are him, Tattvamasi, that is the day on which you are completely released. That is what the Acharyas say. Bhagavan is not someone who is going to arrive later, either in terms of time or space. That is what they say. Already, Bhagavan in several verses, again and again I need not have to repeat, but already Bhagavan has said this in several verses. Bhakti. In chapter 13, verse 10, Bhagavan said, Mayi chananya yogena bhaktiravya bicharini vivikta deva sevitvam aradirjana samsadi. Already Bhagavan said this. Avya bichari, unswerving devotion, unflinching devotion is a must. The mind should not be prostituting. Bhagavan already said this. Again, in chapter 8, verse 22, Bhagavan said, Purushasya parapartha bhaktya labhyastvananyaya yasyantastani bhutani yena sarvamidam tatam. Bhaktya labhyastvananyaya. I can be reached only through bhakti, not by anything else. Bhagavan already said this in chapter 8, verse 22. Again, Bhagavan in chapter 11, verse 54. Bhaktya tvananyaya shakyam agamevam vidorjuna Jnatum drashtum cha tatvena pravetum cha parantapam. Again Bhagavan said, Bhaktya. Ananya Bhakti is important. Otherwise, you cannot reach me. Bhagavan has said this several times. Every place he has said, Bhakti, 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 Bhakti. Unless you have Bhakti, you cannot reach me. You cannot reach the status of Brahman. You cannot cross the gunas. You will always be under the control of the three chains, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Unless you develop the Bhakti. Bhakti is not something that will fall on your own. That's different. Bhagavan may, by his grace, give to some people. Chosen few. It is not chosen. It is actually the previous janmas, which we do not know. What you did in your previous janma, how will you know? How will I know my previous janmas? So whatever you have done in the previous janmas, Bhagavan, after considering all those things, immediately he may grant to somebody. Suddenly he will change into a bhakti mark. For people like us, we have to develop the bhakti. That is what Bhagavan says. A full chapter, that is chapter 12, is devoted for bhakti yoga. The values that need to be cultivated by a bhakta has been clearly given by Bhagavan. That is also necessary here too. We have to remember that chapter. So in this verse, Bhagavan Krishna says, the one who with unflinching devotion serves me, that is Bhagavan Krishna, crosses the gunas and he is only fit to become Brahma. That is what Bhagavan says. Verse 26 again. Mam cha yovya vicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Again,
मां च यो व्यभिचारेण भक्तियोगेन सेवते सगुणान् समतीत्यैतान् ब्रह्मभूयाय कल्पते. Next verse we will see tomorrow. Hari Om Sarvam Krishnarpanamastu. नारायण 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 नारायण